testimony here today, and we'll turn it back over to the chair. I want to start by asking you all, and I know Dr. Holland, you addressed this a fair bit in your testimony about some of the hiring flexibility that's been provided. It seems like that has not been universally applied within across the lab enterprises. How can we do a better job of making sure that that is actually utilized? Where are the challenges to making that happen? And really, from any of your perspectives, how can we make sure that those hiring authorities are actually making it through to where we're able to hire more effectively, more quickly, and get the talent that we need for these enterprises?
Okay, I'm OSD.
Dr. Flagg, you look like
I'm going to start because they're all going to say it's our fault, or was. I'm not constrained by the OSD lawyers anymore, so I can say what I want.
That's exactly why we invited you.
Everybody's nervous behind me now. The first thing I would do is call the lawyers from every service in here and ask them, how are they going to find a way to yes, not how are they going to do the easy thing and say, no, I've never done it before. Because the lawyers are running that organization right now, not the mission specialists. First. The second thing I would do is call the personnel and readiness people in and the military folks in each of the services who oversee the civilian hiring and personnel authorities at each of these laboratories and ask them why they're so obsessed with everything being the same rather than every part of the system being optimized to fulfill the mission. The mission is send those men and women out into the field to do a dangerous, ugly job and give them the highest likelihood to succeed at the mission and come home alive. That's the mission. The mission is not, how do I make everybody feel like they're getting a fair sort of environment where nobody's getting special treatment in personnel hiring authorities or how we do our budgets. And right now, there is more of a focus on controlling your little puka and making sure that nobody gets special treatment and everyone is equal and that the lawyers never tell you you're going to go to jail than there is on getting the mission done. And it's a problem. And I will say that at the end of 15 months, I had spent 15 months banging my head against a wall and being a part of the problem. And when I walked out, it was with a realization that if I ever go back, that I would rather risk going to jail than tolerating that kind of ignoring of the mission that I see happening right now. Not because any one individual is trying to do the wrong thing, but because everybody's trying to do the safe thing.
Dr. Peters?
Just a couple things that I would add. I would say that everything that happened with the laboratory demonstration projects in Section 342 years ago was amazing. And what I think built just a powerful system there was that we took scientists and engineers and said, what would you like the system to be? And we had just a phenomenal mentor in that, Dr. George Abrahamson from SRI. He helped us build that system. And it was a system that we wanted, and we knew it would help us promote people, to retain people, to hire people. It was the right system for us. We had one personnelist, incidentally, that was on that team. There was a core team of 5 and about 50 total. And that personnelist was brilliant because she would say, here's what we need to do to get a waiver, and here's who has that authority all the way through OPM. And so you gave us that, and we went forward with it, and we built the right kind of system. And everything that's come since then, I believe, is taken forever to implement. So all the new flexibilities that you're giving us in the personnel.
Why is that, Dr. Peters?
You know, 2015, the authorities that the Air Force was given and the services in 2015 in the personnel area, the policies still aren't in place. We don't know. We just don't have them implemented yet. Even something like manage to budget, you know, we're still being monitored in AFRL by the number of slots we have and the limitation on overhiring. Instead of saying manage to budget, you know, we had a goal in the lab of no more than 25% of our total salary or our total income that we got would be spent towards salary. So we had something that what are we willing to bet and what are we willing to put at risk, knowing that we still had facilities to take care of. And we still had to have contracting on the outside to support us. So give us truly give us that managed to budget authority and stop measuring in terms of the number of people. And I believe that would really help out in the Air Force. In terms of the time that it takes, though, to hire people, well, I can't answer that. There's been a lot of centralization that happened, a lot of things, and I know, sir, in Albuquerque, we've had some trouble hiring in directed energy and space vehicles. I can't give you an answer for it, but we keep trying to look at the process, we keep trying to fix it, and I think Dr. Flagg had it correct, that we just need to get the people out of the way, have something specific for science and technology. It was working when we first stood up the lab demo projects, I can tell you that.
You know, yeah,
Once we get OSD lawyers all in a room and bind them, however you would like to infer that, then the services then put their own spins on the implementation. So the guidance that comes out of OSD, out of DOD, will have to be clear and relatively unassailable to the services. The reason that the original things that happened with the laboratory demonstration projects worked so well is because there was a clear champion at the beginning. I would suggest to you that the new under for research and
it
engineering
was leadership-based.
would have to be viewed as your champion at a very high level, someone who owns all of the purview that is necessary to make these things happen, and someone that you can help to hold accountable for that matter, because at the present time, you lack that scenario. Okay? Otherwise, you will get the OSD spin, the service spins, legal and the human resources spins, and then by the time you get done with those, you've got a 2 to 4 year implementation planning process going on. And some of us actually have gone out and implemented, quite candidly, on our own at times. The ones of us who are crankier and a little, who didn't pay attention to whether we were retired or not. That was the only way to go ahead and get things going, because we felt that you'd given us the responsibility and law to do that to begin with. And that was fraught with difficulties all on its own.
Yeah.
Let me comment, if I may, that the direct hire authorities for advanced degrees, bachelor's degrees, veterans, technicians have been of tremendous value to us. We can get a person a firm, formal offer in about 2 weeks.
And those are fine.
And within the Navy has allowed this authority for doing this to vest in the laboratories within the Navy. And that was a challenge that OCHR undertook years ago. But we have a fundamental problem. Our pipeline is founded largely on students. It may be a faculty member collaborating with one of my scientists, say, this is the best graduate student I ever had, you ought to hire him. And so what we would like to be able to do is go out and use the direct hire authority that you have authorized and be able to say, yes, I'm going to bring that person aboard and make them an offer. And we used to be able to do that. We can no longer do that. My summer student program has gone from about 500 a year down to a low of 45 a year, creeping back up to about half what it used to be. And we cannot penetrate the system to get the use of the direct hire authority for students. And if you can help get that through the system, that would be of tremendous. I have some hope. Some of the authorities for personnel within the demos on 4 April moved to OSD, and we hope that maybe there'll be a new view in hand after you get the lawyers together in this room.
I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all for your candor. Senator Wicker.